Welcome to the Complete Story series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites for you to understand. Then we read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by the respective companies. The symbiotes have always been a popular topic in the Marvel comic books. The Guardians are an old school team that has recently gotten a lot of attention. So how are they connected? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Now, the symbiotes are massive beasts that can bond with a host and create something new. Sometimes that something is a hero, and sometimes that something is a villain. Now, Agent Venom is one of those sometimes that the symbiote is on a hero. He doesn't really understand what the symbiote is, but he does understand that it's alive, and that they have somehow bonded together to become a mighty hero in the Marvel Universe. Recently, Agent Venom was sent to join the Guardians of the Galaxy for a space adventure as per the Avengers' orders. But very quickly, the Guardians found themselves separated due to a plot from Star-Lord's father to break the team up. This left Agent Venom stranded on a very populated planet, alone and scared. The people of this planet kept calling him insane for bonding with a symbiote, calling it a dirty Clintar. After a little time of trying to figure out how he was going to get off of this planet, he lost control, and the Venom symbiote took over. But the Venom symbiote is even more terrified than Flash Thompson was. Why is he hated? He's only been doing good recently. And what is a Clintar? Are they more of him? So he walks around the planet asking for travel back to Earth. If he can just get back home, everything will be okay. The people of Earth have come to accept him. But even using fear doesn't get him a ride back to Earth, and he leaves some terrified pilots behind. Venom's good now. Why can't people see that? He just wants to go home. So he goes back to an alien that called him a Clintar when Flash Thompson was in control. He asks the man to explain what is a Clintar. He wants to know everything he can, but the man refuses to answer anything. He just wants that dirty Clintar out of his shop. When suddenly, Gamora comes walking into the shop and she sees Agent Venom standing there. "Human? The Guardians have been looking all over the galaxy for you. Are you alright?" And as she asks that, she's thrown out the window by Venom. You see, Gamora never trusted the symbiote, and once Agent Venom joined the team, she wanted to remove it from Flash Thompson and kill it. But Flash stopped her. Now that Flash is unconscious and Venom is terrified, it doesn't trust her. "You've gone mad," she yells back. "This is all a trick! You sent me here to die! You sent me into space so you could ruin me!" Venom screams out. And Gamora refrains from fighting back. "If there's anything left of you, Thompson, speak now." But Venom just growls, "I'll kill you all!" So Gamora runs at Venom, leaping over it and stabbing him with her staff. But before Venom can react, she yells, "Now!" And just then, Rocket Raccoon shoots a gun out at the symbiote that sucks it up and pulls it off of Flash. As Flash hits the ground now that he's legless again without the symbiote, Gamora turns to the Guardians and asks, "What took you so long?" "You only called us a minute ago," Star-Lord says. "I was in the bathroom," Drax says, and Rocket just grins. As Flash begins to come to his senses again, he asks, "What happened? Oh, I should have never come. I can control the symbiote on Earth. This whole thing of going into space was a bad idea." And then he just passes out. Star-Lord looks at him. Poor guy. And I was really starting to feel bad that we lost him. So no one really knows what happened to Flash, and they make a decision to just get him back to Earth. The Guardians did lose him after all. Back on the ship, Groot and Rocket are slightly guarding the vial that Rocket is keeping the symbiote in, and Groot just finds it fascinating. That is, until it breaks out of the vial and it wraps around Groot while Rocket's back is turned. Rocket turns around to see his buddy under the control of the symbiote, and Venom Groot says, "I am Venom!" Star-Lord, Gamora, and Drax all see Rocket come running out of the cargo hold, with Venom Groot chasing them, yelling, "I am Venom!" "What's going on?" Star-Lord asks, and Drax runs in and begins swinging, "I have this!" But Groot quickly slams him into the ground and throws him into the ship's controls, turning off the gravity. No one has any idea what to do, with Rocket yelling, "Help Groot! Somebody help Groot!" So Gamora demands Venom release the Wood God, and she will spare him a brutal death. And Rocket just snaps back, "Not like that!" But Star-Lord has this as he fires his guns along with Rocket at Groot. "Sorry, buddy." The Venom symbiote quickly jumps off of Groot and it begins to look for a new host, and it sees a certain talking raccoon that it would love to be on right now. But Rocket panics and begins to blind fire at the symbiote. Eventually, it does manage to get onto Rocket though, and it wraps around his arm until we have Venom Rocket Raccoon. He forms a massive gun on his arm and he turns to Drax and Groot. "Don't come one step closer. Get off my ship. I have business to conduct and I'll be more than happy if I never see any of you again." And Groot looks at him simply asking, "I am Groot?" Venom Rocket Raccoon begins disarming the Guardians, but not actually hurting any of them. And then he points his gun at Star-Lord. "You've always done right by me, Quill, so I don't want to hurt you or anyone else. But I need this ship and I need you and the others to get off." But Drax reaches out to try and grab Venom Rocket Raccoon, so the symbiote in response transfers over to Drax, creating Venom Drax. Well, as you can imagine, no one can face off with Venom Drax. Flash Thompson eventually wakes up though, and he sees that something is definitely wrong on the ship. He crawls out of the medbay because right now he doesn't have his legs, as it's the symbiote that creates legs for him. And he sees the entire team unconscious, but still breathing. And he sees Venom Drax at the helm of the ship. Venom Drax turns around and says, "We're here. I'm home." Flash looks out the window and he sees Planet Symbiote. The Venom symbiote tells Flash that he is home. He's been summoned here, and he doesn't know if this is the end of their journey together, but he has come to admire Flash Thompson. And then he leaves Drax's body and he crawls out of the ship. Everyone wakes up and realizes that it's true. They're now in an uncharted part of an uncharted sector of the galaxy. They've got Venom symbiotes flying all around them in their anti-gravity whatever kind of planet they have, and shockingly, they're not attacking or trying to bond with the Guardians. After a little contemplation, Flash decides that he's going to present himself and let the symbiotes bond with him, and try to see what's going on. While everyone tries to stop him, he eventually gets to one of the symbiotes, and he bonds with it. And all Groot can say is, "I am Groot!" And Gamora replies with, "What can we do?" But everything's okay, because Flash responds with, "Wow, I was right. They want to talk to us. They don't have mouths or the ability for verbal communication. If you let them temporarily bond with you, they can explain what's going on." The whole team refuses, except for Groot, and he allows it to bond with him. So following his lead, everyone else agrees to bond with the symbiote, hoping that this works out for the best. And the symbiotes explain, "We are the Clintar. We are the mind and soul of the warrior, and we want to spread the true ways of a noble and virtuous galaxy. Like yourselves, we are dedicated to making a great society. To get to this society, we need to find hosts to create a perfect bond to reach our ultimate goal. This means that we need a perfect blend of moral and physical ideals. If we can find that, we can create the ultimate noble warrior. But because we need such a delicate balance, there are few members of very few species that can rise to the occasion. If the balance is even slightly off, it'll create something that is monstrous and corrupt. Because of this, our reputation throughout the galaxy has been tarnished. Once a symbiote becomes corrupt, we break it off from our home world and our hive mind, and without a connection to us, a damaged Clintar will spiral out of control. The corrupted Clintar will then try to spread lies and half-truths to further their own agendas, further harming our reputation in the galaxy. But even a broken symbiote can bring true heroism. And that is why we are honored to have Eugene Flash Thompson with us here today. And so we are grateful to you Guardians for bringing him to us. We've been aware of your Agent Venom for quite some time, and we are so happy that throughout their struggles, their bond has made the warrior whole and a planet safer. But since the Venom symbiote only contained a fractured connection to us, it was frightened and it began to react to its surroundings irrationally. But now that they are here, we can fix and repair the symbiote and create the perfect warrior that they are supposed to be. Eugene Flash Thompson, you now have new abilities and knowledge that you didn't know you had before, and you have a connection to us finally. You are now a warrior of the galaxy, and you may now leave with our gratitude and blessings. As a thank you, we have cured all of your bodies of their poisons and cancers. Cancers? Who had cancer? Star-Lord asks. So in our short story, the Guardians and Agent Venom all climb back onto their ship, and they all comment about how they feel like $1,000,000. And it's time for them to go find a planet to repair their ship after this whole ordeal. Rocket Raccoon has also made it Flash's job to clean up the ship, since it was his symbiote that made the mess. But before anyone can do anything else, Captain Marvel calls them up to ask Peter if he knows anything about this, because the Spartak Empire is currently broadcasting that Star-Lord is now the new president of their empire. Rocket Raccoon looks at him and he says, "Hey, congrats! And I may have a few things on my record that I'm gonna need you to quietly take care of, buddy." Now, I know some of you aren't a fan of this arc, but I personally liked it because it allows the symbiote characters to evolve further as characters. And who doesn't love a good Guardians of the Galaxy story? Don't forget about our gaming channel, Eligible Monster, and our list channel, Listbomb. And follow us on Twitter at Comicstorian. Also, give this video a like if you want us to continue the Guardians of the Galaxy story. Right now, we're trying to decide what our next big arc is going to be, and if you want it to be Guardians of the Galaxy with Agent Venom, let us know. We'll see you next time right here at Comicstorian.